They weren't built to impress, just to outlive everything else on the road. From war zone engines to farm trucks that never die, these are the shocking top 10 most reliable trucks with forever-lasting engines. Number 10, Toyota Tacoma. What looks like a modest, almost humble pickup turned out to be one of the most indestructible machines ever sold in North America. At first glance, it was just a small truck. Nothing flashy, no oversized grille, no loud turbo whistle. But underneath, a steel frame survivor built with one goal: never die. Known for its near-legendary reputation among outdoorsmen and desert dwellers, this mid-sized truck earned its place not through brute size but sheer resilience. What made it so unstoppable was its 4.0-liter V6, pushing out around 236 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque. On paper, modest, but on the trail, or after 300,000 miles, that engine became folklore. Acceleration, a respectable 0 to 60 in just under 7.5 seconds. Not record-breaking, but surprisingly zippy for a truck that could take a beating daily and still ask for more. Its secret weapon wasn't power, it was durability in the face of abuse. Owners have driven these through snowstorms, forest fires, and sandstorms, and it just kept going. The suspension soaked up punishment, the transmission rarely complained, and the resale value, astronomically high, even 2 decades later. But it wasn't perfect. The cabin felt dated fast, and the fuel economy, especially on older 4-day-old drive models, hurt. It guzzled more than it should have for a midsize, and for all its toughness, some early models faced rust issues, especially around the frame. Enough that Toyota had to quietly offer frame replacements for many. Still, despite those flaws, it cemented its place. People passed them down like heirlooms. And while the world moved on to tech-heavy trucks, this one stayed mechanical and almost mythological. Next up, a full-size legend that outsold everything in sight and still refused to die. Number 9, Ford F-150, 1999 to 2010. You wouldn't expect the best-selling truck in America to also be one of the toughest ever built. Mass production usually means cutting corners, but not this time. For over a decade, this full-size beast earned loyalty the hard way, by taking abuse and begging for more. The real magic sat under the hood. Whether it was the 4.6-liter Triton V8 or the bigger 5.4-liter variant, these engines were built for reliability, not records. Output hovered around 231 to 300 horsepower, depending on the trim, with torque ranging from 293 to 365 pound-feet. That gave it enough grunt to haul, tow, or just cruise through rough terrain with the calm of a seasoned brawler. 0 to 60, around 8.5 seconds. Slow by car standards, but solid for a full-size truck born to work, not race. And that's the thing, this truck wasn't just transportation. It was a farm tool, a daily hauler, a cross-country mule. People ran them hard, contractors, ranchers, even suburban dads who just needed something that wouldn't quit. Stories of these trucks pushing 400,000 plus miles without an engine rebuild aren't rare. They're expected. Ask anyone who owned one. They'll say it didn't care about comfort, it cared about showing up every single day. But time wasn't always kind. Those early 5.4-liter Triton engines, they had issues. Spark plug blowouts became a known headache, and some cam phasers rattled like loose change. The interiors didn't age well either, plasticky and basic, even by early 2000s standards. Still, when you strip it all back, you're left with a machine that outworked almost everything around it. A truck that didn't pretend to be luxurious and didn't need to be. It just did the job and then some. Coming up next, a V8-powered brute with Japanese DNA and Texas muscle. Number 8, Toyota Tundra, 2007 to 2017. Some trucks talk big. This one was big, built in Texas, tuned for America, and stuffed with a V8 that ran like a freight train on Red Bull. It wasn't trying to copy Detroit, it was coming for it. At launch, critics weren't sure what to make of it. It was Toyota's first real shot at the full-size market, and they came swinging with a 5.7-liter iForce V8 that cranked out 381 horsepower and 401 pound-feet of torque. That meant a 0 to 60 time of just 6.3 seconds, blisteringly fast for a truck this size, and it towed. Rated for over 10,000 pounds, it could drag boats, trailers, maybe even your neighbor's ego. But performance wasn't the only story. The real shock came years later, when these trucks were still going strong at 300,000, even 500,000 miles. No major overhauls, no engine swaps, just regular maintenance and a will to live. Ask any long-haul owner or contractor, this thing became a legend quietly and without the flashy marketing blitz. The cabin was massive, the ride firm but forgiving, and reliability almost boringly consistent. While rivals chased luxury trims and infotainment arms races, this truck focused on not braking. That was its luxury, peace of mind. Still, it had flaws. Fuel economy was brutal, often 13 to 15 miles per gallon combined. And early models had a clunky 6-speed transmission. Parking it, a nightmare in tight spots. And the design? Some loved the bold, muscular look. Others thought it was trying too hard to impress. But when you wanted a truck that could do real work and do it for decades, this one didn't flinch. It may not have the sales numbers of its rivals, but it had something better: trust. Next, an HD bruiser that survived job sites, snowplows, and one of GM's boldest engine bets. If you're loving these legendary machines, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because the next trucks will blow your mind. Number 7. Chevrolet Silverado 2500 HD, 2001 to 2006. This next one didn't whisper reliability, it roared it. Built for hauling gravel, dragging trailers, and still making it home in time for dinner, this heavy-duty legend wore its scars proudly. And under the hood, a diesel engine that rewrote the rules. Launched in the early 2000s, this wasn't just a step up. It was a cannonball into the deep end of the HD truck pool. GM stuffed it with the now famous 6.6-liter Duramax LB7 V8 diesel, paired with an Allison 5-speed automatic, a combination that brought 300 horsepower and a whopping 520 pound-feet of torque. The result? A 0 to 60 time around 8 seconds, which was unheard of for a truck tipping the scales at over 6,000 pounds. But raw numbers don't tell the whole story. What made this truck special was how it delivered that power. Smooth, controlled, and built to last. Farmers, builders, and weekend warriors alike knew that if you had one of these, you could tow a horse trailer on Friday, move a mountain of gravel on Saturday, and still cruise to church on Sunday without a hiccup. It was that versatile. Over time, its reputation only grew. The Duramax Allison combo became legendary for a reason. It just didn't give up. These trucks were still working hard deep into the 300,000-mile range, often without ever opening the engine block. But it wasn't flawless. Early LB7 models were known for injector issues, and rust could creep in if you weren't paying attention, especially in the Midwest. The interior? Classic early 2000s GM, functional, but far from flashy. Still, when it came to sheer work ethic, few could touch it. Would you take this over a modern diesel today? Drop a comment and let me know, because the next one might make that question even harder. Number 6. Ram 2500 Cummins, 1994 to 1998, 2003 to 2007. This next truck didn't just earn a fan base, it built a cult. A machine so brutally dependable, it's still wrenching wrenches and towing loads decades later. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't soft, but under that squared-off hood, something close to immortal. Across 2 key eras, 1994 to 1998, and again from 2003 to 2007, this heavy-duty legend carried what many call the greatest diesel engine ever dropped into a pickup: the 5.9-liter Cummins inline-6. Not a V8, not turbocharged within an inch of its life, just a straight 6 turbo diesel workhorse, originally borrowed from industrial equipment. Horsepower varied, 175 to 325 horsepower, depending on the year, but that wasn't the point. What mattered was torque, massive, usable torque, up to 610 pounds-feet, delivered low and steady. It wasn't fast off the line. 0 to 60 often hovered around 9 to 10 seconds. But you don't buy a bulldozer for drag racing, you buy it to move the earth. And that's what these trucks did. Towing 12,000 pounds? No problem. Pulling a trailer up a mountain pass without overheating? Easy. Farmers, oil workers, diesel fanatics, they swore by it. The Cummins wasn't just an engine, it was a legacy. The 2 generations each had their flavor. The earlier 94, 98 models were raw and mechanical, no nonsense, manual transmissions, and a body style that looked like it was carved out of a filing cabinet. The 03, 07s added a bit more refinement, a little more tech, and a lot more torque. But both shared that same heartbeat, and that's what made them timeless. Sure, the ride was stiff, interiors were dated, and yes, the front-end components wore quickly if you pushed them hard. But the motor, it just kept going. And that's why it still sits high on the list. Because when the world ends, someone will still be driving a Cummins-powered Ram, probably towing a broken-down hybrid. If you thought this list was surprising, wait until you see what other classic machines made the cut. The road to everlasting engines is paved with stories, and this is just the beginning. Number 5. Toyota Land Cruiser 100, 1998 to 2007, 2UZ FE V8. From the outside, it looked like a luxury SUV built for soccer practice or slow drives through the suburbs. But under the hood, it was hiding one of the most overbuilt V8 engines Japan ever engineered. Quiet, clean, and capable of surviving places most trucks wouldn't dare tread. Enter the Toyota Land Cruiser 100 series, produced from 1998 to 2007 and powered by the bulletproof 2UZ FE 4.7-liter V8. This wasn't just any engine. It was cast from thick iron, built with forged internals, and tuned for smoothness and endurance, not flash. The result? 232-275 horsepower, up to 330 pound-feet of torque, and a 0 to 60 time of around 9 seconds. Not bad for a 5,300-pound beast that could climb a mountain before breakfast. But numbers never told the full story here. This wasn't about speed, it was about survival. These things were spotted in war zones, remote deserts, and high-altitude rescue missions. UN convoys, African safaris, Australian bush. They weren't babied, they were relied on, because they never quit. The full-time 4DU dive system, locking center diff, and tank-like suspension made it nearly unstoppable off-road. And back on pavement, it rode like a high-end sedan. Owners routinely hit 400,000 plus miles without engine rebuilds, and many are still going with nothing more than oil changes and basic service. It wasn't just reliable, it was unreasonably reliable. But it wasn't flawless. Fuel economy was dismal, think 13 to 15 mpg, sometimes less with oversized tires or rooftop gear. Parts weren't cheap either, and while the interior was luxurious for its time, tech didn't age well. No Apple CarPlay, no flashy screens, just buttons, knobs, and seats that somehow outlasted the trucks themselves. Still, the Land Cruiser 100 didn't just outlive its rivals, it outclassed them. Because in a world full of trucks built for looks, this one was built for forever. Number 4. Nissan Frontier, 2005 to 2019. Just when you thought the mid-size truck market was all talk and no teeth, along came a quiet contender that refused to quit and stayed under the radar for nearly 15 years. This truck wasn't flashy or overloaded with tech, but it packed a punch that made it a favorite for those who needed dependable muscle without the bloat. Between 2005 and 2019, this rugged midsize worked overtime with a reputation for bulletproof reliability. Underneath the hood sat a 4-liter V6 engine, delivering a solid 265 horsepower and 281 pound-feet of torque, pushing it from 0 to 60 in about 7.5 seconds. Impressive for its class. But the real magic? It's simple, robust engineering that kept these trucks running strong, well past 200,000 miles, often with nothing more than regular maintenance. Known for its off-road prowess thanks to the Pro 4X trim and a durable frame, this truck could tackle rough trails during the week and haul gear on weekends without breaking a sweat. Yet it was equally comfortable as a daily driver, proving you don't need to sacrifice reliability for versatility. However, no truck is perfect. The rear suspension could be stiff, and the cabin design was basic compared to rivals that flooded the market with fancy tech and plush interiors. Some drivers also noted the fuel economy wasn't class-leading, hovering around 18 to 21 miles per gallon. But the question is, why did so many drivers swear by this truck for so long, even when bigger, flashier options were available? What made it stick around with such a loyal fan base for nearly a decade and a half? Drop a comment and let me know. Because coming up next is a full-size powerhouse that redefined durability, and you won't want to miss it. Number 3, GMC Sierra 1500, 2007 to 2013. Following that midsize workhorse, let's step into the realm of full-size trucks that blend power with unexpected finesse. This next contender is often overshadowed by its cousin, but beneath its polished exterior beats an engine known for sheer durability and muscle, ready to handle both the daily grind and weekend adventures without breaking a sweat. From 2007 to 2013, this model carved a name for itself with its Vortec 5.3-liter V8 engine, producing a respectable 315 horsepower and 335 pound-feet of torque. That translated to a smooth yet potent ride, sprinting from 0 to 60 in roughly 7 seconds. No slouch for a truck built to haul and tow. What really set it apart was its flex fuel capability and a reputation for going the distance. Owners routinely reported crossing 250,000 miles with minimal major repairs. The Sierra 1500 wasn't just about raw power. Its refined suspension and comfortable interior made it a surprisingly pleasant daily driver, breaking the stereotype that durable trucks have to feel like a medieval torture device. Plus, the active fuel management system helped balance power and efficiency, keeping fuel consumption reasonable for its size. But let's be real, no ride is perfect. Some owners found the transmission's shift points a bit jerky, and the interior plastics didn't always match the truck's robust build. Rust issues popped up in certain climates too, which kept some drivers on their toes. Still, when durability meets refinement, this truck hits a sweet spot. It's no wonder it's earned a place among the most reliable engines ever built, quietly proving you can have strength and style in one package. If you're enjoying this countdown, don't forget to subscribe for more surprising legends that keep on rolling, no matter what. Number 2, Ford Superduty F250, 1999 to 2003. Right after the GMC Sierra comes a beast that's built to do one thing, and do it relentlessly: haul. This is a truck that doesn't ask for praise or spotlight. It simply shows up day after day, bearing heavy loads and never complaining. Between 1999 and 2003, this Super Duty F250 was powered by the legendary 7.3-liter Power-Stroke V8 turbo diesel, a motor so tough it earned nicknames like Godzilla and the Iron Giant. Cranking out around 235 horsepower and a monstrous 500 pounds-feet of torque, this engine could tow upwards of 12,500 pounds with ease. It wasn't fast, clocking 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds, but speed was never its mission. Power and dependability were. This truck earned its place in the Workhorse Hall of Fame because of its bulletproof construction and the engine's ironclad durability. Stories abound of F-250s logging well over 300,000 miles with original motors still purring like kittens. Owners praise the ease of maintenance and the fact that, when properly cared for, this Ford simply refuses to quit. That said, it wasn't perfect. Early models had some issues with fuel injectors, and the ride could be harsh, especially when unladen. Plus, those who weren't used to driving heavy-duty pickups found it a bit unwieldy around town. But no matter the quibbles, this truck earned respect where it mattered most, in the trenches of heavy labor and long hauls. And now, brace yourself. The number 1 truck on our list isn't just reliable. It's a legend so enduring, its engine has practically earned immortality. You won't believe which truck claims the top spot? Stay tuned. Number 1, Chevrolet CK 1500, 1988 to 1998. Topping our list is a truck that's less a vehicle and more a rolling legend. A machine so reliable, it's practically a part of automotive folklore. This isn't just the king of longevity, it's the benchmark every other truck aspires to, but rarely reaches. Between 1988 and 1998, the Chevrolet CK 1500 carved out a legacy with engines that seemed invincible, especially the 5.7L V8 small block that powered countless work sites, farms, and family haulers. With up to 255 horsepower and a healthy 330 pound-foot of torque, this truck balanced strength and drivability. The 0 to 60 sprint hovered around 8 seconds, which was more than enough muscle for its time. What truly sets this truck apart is its simplicity. The straightforward mechanical design meant fewer things could go wrong. Parts were abundant, repairs were easy, and the engines were known to cross the 300,000-mile mark and beyond. without needing a rebuild. It was tough enough to tow heavy loads and reliable enough to be passed down through generations. Owners still swear by these trucks, telling stories of engines that started after years of sitting idle and transmissions that never skipped a beat. Sure, the ride might feel dated, and safety features were minimal by today's standards, but those things hardly mattered when the truck kept running like the day it rolled off the lot. There's a reason this Chevy isn't just a truck, it's a legend. A powerhouse that redefined what it means to be reliable. The kind of vehicle your granddad trusted and that still turns heads on the road today. Which one of these trucks blew your mind with its unstoppable engine? Drop your pick in the comments. I want to see which reliable beast wins your vote. If you're loving this journey through the toughest, longest-lasting rides, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And buckle up, because next time, we're uncovering the hidden legends of trucks and cars so tough and surprising, they practically rewrite the rulebook. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.